On this edition of Around BCC, we spent some time looking at the news and activities at BCC's Attleboro Center. There's some good news for students who plan to attend BCC next academic year, and our Attleboro-based alum took advantage of BCC's dual enrollment program to get a head start to college. Welcome to Around BCC. I'm Keith Tebow. It is April, which means we are fully ensconced in spring, and hopefully better weather is ahead as we head toward the second half of the 2013 spring semester at all locations of Bristol Community College. For the past few years or so, we've had the great opportunity to visit some of BCC's campuses outside of Fall River, where of course the main campus is located. And today, for at least the third or fourth year in a row, we are at the Attleboro Center, and we're pleased to be joined for the first part of our program by the Dean of Attleboro and Taunton, Rodney Clark. Rodney, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Keith, thanks for coming out. Appreciate it. Again,
we appreciate coming to Attleboro, and it's a good opportunity for us to share the good work that's being done in this part of Bristol County on behalf of BCC. Let me ask you, Rodney, this is your second full academic year as Dean of Attleboro and Taunton. What did you learn from year one that you're taking now into your second year?
I would say that probably the biggest thing is really the relationship cultivation with students, with faculty, with staff, and certainly with the community. And to that end, one of the things we're trying to do is having a better sense of what is specific to the needs of the Attleboro area residents, what kinds of programming and coursework are more suitable for where they are academically. And so we're just trying to pay closer attention to that by working more closely with the school systems in Attleboro, certainly in Taunton, and other communities as well. So that part's been really, really good for us.
No, I know that when the campus started, on County Street and then, moved here eventually, that I think the focus is probably on just getting something started, serving the needs, the educational needs of this community in a basic way.
Sure.
Some of the general educational topics and courses. But now, I guess from what I hear from you, you're trying to pinpoint specifically what may be the educational needs of this part of Bristol County, correct?
I think so. And to do that, we formed an advisory committee which consists of individuals in the educational sector as well as the business community and government relations folks as well. And again, really trying to help inform the direction that this college needs to go in this particular municipality. So that's real important to us, because what we don't want to do is make the mistake of trying to develop programming and offer courses really based upon random kind of guesswork. We're trying to be much more specific. And again, it comes from paying attention to the community.
Now, in terms of a big push at BCC has been for years getting those who are currently in the workforce to improve their skills through education, workforce development programs. Is that a big part of this as well? Not just traditional students who may come through the doors, but workforce development?
Well, to be honest with you, Keith, I don't even know how it's correctly defined a traditional student.
Right.
Because we have students who are coming straight from high school, and many of them, if not most of them, are part-time students. Because in addition to advancing academically, they're also working, they may have family responsibilities and the like. Some of them are traditionally the daytime student, but not all of them. There's some students doing coursework online, in the evenings, on the weekends, and we're trying to customize the type of academic program that makes the most sense.
Now, in speaking of getting a handle on the future educational needs of the Attleboro area, you talked about working with political officials, those in the business community and those in the educational community. What about reaching out to some of the potential students here at BCC? What's being done to try to get their opinions on what they may want from BCC going forward?
Well, that's actually, to that end, one of the things that we've done is we developed a survey instrument which we launched a month or two ago. And one of the great things about it is that it's asking potential students, existing students, what is it that we need to be offering? How do we customize our academic programming that makes the most sense? One of the things that we've been discussing is trying to figure out what is a better way to deliver hybrid course offerings. In other words, in a typical online class, there may be some component of it where they may have face-to-face contact a few times during the academic semester, and all the other instruction is handled electronically. We're trying to figure out, how do we handle that? How do we shape that and it makes the most sense for people?
Now, how are the demographics, if you know this, how are the demographics of this part of the county maybe a little different than some of the more urban areas of Fall River and New Bedford, and how will that play a role?
That's a good question, Keith. One of the things that we've noticed, and that I've noticed specifically, is that a lot of the students who come here seem to be a little bit younger than in the other campus locations. And because of that, their level of academic preparation might be a little bit stronger. And so that's been really good for us to have a sense of that, because what that does do is it really helps us to make sure that we're doing the kinds of things in terms of course offerings and academic programming, as well as student support services that make the most sense for people. And that's one of the things we're trying to do.
Yeah, and that's also being done in Fall River and in New Bedford.
Yes.
So it's interesting how the satellite locations are doing their best to try to tailor to that specific region that they serve, where, you know, for years the thought was, well, you know, we're BCC, and it's sort of a you know, one size fits all approach, but that can't really be the case with the demographics of a region. And it's good that Attleboro, and I know New Bedford and Fall River as well, are doing those data-driven research to make sure that you meet the needs of those locations. So that is important.
No, it is, because we realize that certainly there's a Bristol Community College brand, which certainly makes sense for the greater Bristol County region. We certainly understand that very seriously. But at the same time, some of the needs might be a little bit different in Fall River compared to in Attleboro.
Right.
Not better, not worse, but just a little bit different.
Right.
And so we're trying to make sure that we're in step with that and meeting those needs appropriately.
All right, let's talk about some of the numbers here at Attleboro in general terms. The good thing that has benefited BCC in general since, you know, the economic decline in 2008, 2009, 10, 11, and 12 is that more and more students are looking at BCC as an affordable and a very quality option for their educational needs. And BCC's been fortunate enough to see an increase in enrollment just about every year, despite the fact that there are less dollars in people's pockets. That still has been the trend here in Attleboro. More and more people are enrolling here and taking part of the activities here.
You know, that's really been good for us as well. We've seen certainly an increase for enrollment looking at spring 2013 compared to spring 2012. Enrollment growth, comparing those two time frames, we're up about 6, 7, or 8% above where we were that time frame last year. So that's really been good for us. And one of the things that we've instituted, in addition to trying to take full advantage of the different media outlets, whether it's the newspaper, our website, Facebook, we're trying to take full advantage of all those opportunities, but at the same time, we've been doing a number of, some might describe as old-fashioned approaches, where we're calling students directly. Students who are here, if it's time to register for classes, we're calling to let them know that we have advisors here. We're able to meet with them privately, one-on-one, in order for them to help select classes for the upcoming semester.
And I'm sure you're also using connections at the local high schools in the region to try to let them know, hey, we're still here. We're still a great resource.
Definitely.
And a great option for students as they continue their higher educational career.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's talk a little about Taunton. The other hat you wear is you're also the dean of the activity at Taunton. I know there's been, over the past few years, there's been some unfortunate, not much stability there in terms of where the classes have been held. Talk about updates that are happening in Taunton.
One of the things that we've been doing in Taunton, in addition to, well, first of all, we've actually added another evening of classes there. Prior to my arrival and during my first year in this position, we're offering classes at night in Taunton on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Of courses were beginning either at 4 o'clock or 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And so there were students who would do back-to-back coursework in a given evening, and that was fine. We saw the need to expand that to a 4th evening on Thursdays.
Okay.
So we just started that this spring semester, and that's really worked well for us. So recognizing that there are a lot of folks in Taunton who certainly appreciate and respect what Bristol Community College has to offer, we've been inviting in different leaders from the Bristol community to come in and meet the faculty, meet with the students. We've had Dr. Sprague come in and a couple of the different vice presidents and other directors and other professional support staff to either conduct their business there or simply to greet students in different hallways, different classrooms and such, and that's really worked well for us. And so our enrollment in Taunton has grown to a little over 200 students, so that's really been good for us.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that's really interesting is that we've had some students express a desire for us to have more technology classes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, I wasn't really sure that we had enough students in order to run a class there. We certainly worked that, we promoted it, and it's been very successful for us. In addition, there were students who expressed a need or desire to have science classes. And so we've offered an astronomy class there this semester, and that's gone really well for us, and we're exploring some other opportunities there also.
How difficult, just because of where you're physically located and the staff is physically located here in Attleboro, to try to get those, that data that you're trying to gather here in Attleboro from Taunton to try to meet their needs? How difficult is that? Or maybe it's not as difficult because you're able to make some of those educational connections and those political connections, you know, literally either on the phone or via email.
We do all those things, certainly. We work closely with the Taunton School Department. I've met with the superintendent a few times, and so we've had some discussions, and so that's really worked well for us, just to have that type of a partnership established. But Taunton is one of those communities where it's rather interesting. Depending upon where a person resides, the Taunton resident may have a connection, an additional connection to Bristol's location here in Attleboro, or they may have a connection to Bristol's main campus location in Fall River.
Right.
So depending upon where a student resides, that may determine which way they go in addition to what they do in Taunton. Now the good thing about that is when we offer classes in Taunton, we try to make sure that students know, you know, through the different signs that we post on the hallways and such, that students have the opportunity to take advantage of the different services available here in Attleboro or in Taunton as well.
So there's obviously a lot of room for growth in Taunton. Is there also some impact in terms of Taunton's relatively proximity to Massasoit Community College in Brockton? I mean, it's almost as close, maybe a little further away, Taunton to Brockton than Taunton to Fall River. So that may be, is that an issue?
I don't think that it is,
No.
and largely because we find that there are a lot of students, they are extremely busy certainly with their schoolwork, with their employment situation, and of course with their families. So they may not want to travel such a long distance in order to advance themselves academically. And that's certainly a testament to just the explosive growth that we've seen in online distance learning types of platforms. That's really worked well for us. But no, I've not seen really any hard data to suggest that there's been any type of competition that we've lost because of the proximity to Massasoit in Brockton. And in fact, they opened up a campus location a few years ago in Middleborough. And I've not seen any erosion in our Taunton numbers. In fact, it's been quite the opposite. It's really grown.
Good. I want to finish up our conversation talking a little bit more about workforce development, meeting the needs of the industry and the businesses here in the Attleboro area. Again, demographics are different here than they may be in Fall River and New Bedford. And you mentioned about, before we taped, about an event that's being held this month, early this month, to try to get some of those businesses through the doors and get people talking to them about their needs. Talk a little bit about that event.
Sure. In collaboration with the United Chamber of Commerce, which serves Attleboro and Taunton and a number of other communities in between, along with, of course, Bristol Community College and Bridgewater State University, we brought in a number of businesses who are members of the Chamber of Commerce, really as a fact-finding opportunity for individual businesses to learn more about how we can help each other to really elevate this community. And that has really worked well for us to the extent that it's one thing for a business owner to be familiar with another business owner, but to find out specifically what types of services that other business owner may be able to offer that will help the other one. Mm-hmm. And so having that platform here at Bristol, we believe that will help elevate our visibility in this community, because we find that there are a lot of business owners, they may know vaguely that BCC is in Attleboro, but they may not really know this campus very well. Mm-hmm. They may not know the different services that are available. And so we see it kind of as a two-pronged advantage to us. It's bringing business people into the center.
Physically into the center.
Physically into the center, but at the same time recognizing that they influence people in their various constituencies, whether employees or staff members or certainly family members or neighbors. And for them to see what's available here in Attleboro, we're confident that helps to bring back the message into those different spheres of influence. Mm.
Finally, you mentioned the survey that's being done to get information about Attleboro, and speaking with those in the educational community, political community, business community about what the needs are academically. Can you shed any light on what students in the Attleboro area may expect to see with the new academic year coming up in the fall?
That's a harder question to answer, to be honest with you. I mean, we hear a number of anecdotal types of things, and I think that's really why we want to rely upon much more hard data to inform the future direction for what we're going to do. And I think that's what speaks to the survey instrument that we have in place right now, where we're trying to evaluate what direction should we go in. We already have a good sense of it, that we obviously need to have a certain number of math classes and English classes and reading and history and psychology, some of the basic classes that fit a number of different programs. But we're trying to find out, are there specific other types of courses that we should offer? And if so, should we offer them more during the day or at night or on the weekend? One of the things that we started just this past fall is a weekend college, where there are a handful of programs that students can complete just by taking classes on Saturdays and Sundays. And so that's really worked well for us also. Yeah.
Well, Rodney Clark, Dean of Attleboro and Taunton, I appreciate your time and thank you for the hospitality.
Definitely. Thanks for coming out.
We'll have more of Around BCC right after this. Welcome back. April is the time when BCC students start registering for classes coming up this fall. And the college has some good news for not only those students, but any new students attending BCC next year. There will be no increase in tuition and fees. The BCC Board of Trustees took a courageous step last month, announcing that tuition and fees at Bristol Community College will not go up for the 2013-2014 academic year. President Dr. John Sprague says fees have risen steadily over the last few years due to a decrease in support from the state. He says this year is different, as the state aims to bring funding fairness to community colleges.
One of the factors that has helped reach this decision is the advent of a new formula funding mechanism for the community colleges. And it is to redistribute, whether there's one extra dollar or not, it is to redistribute the existing dollars for whatever amount of dollars are in the pool for the community colleges. Some of us, and Bristol of course is one of the leaders in the pack, have suffered from inadequate support based on our enrollment surge. We have, over the years that I've been here, we've gained by some 80% of our students. However, the state support has not only not kept up, but has actually declined. So the new funding formula is not a panacea, but it's certainly going to ameliorate some of our problems in the inequity of the distributions.
In addition to the new funding formula, Governor Patrick has proposed allocating $20 million more for the state's community colleges. Beginning this summer, tuition and fees for an average 3-credit course at BCC will remain at $500 $22. Just in time for Easter, BCC's Culinary Arts program, in conjunction with Skills USA, held its 6th annual cake show at the Fall River campus. The creative talents of cake decorators from across the region were on display at this year's show. Regional and world-renowned pastry chefs were also on hand to judge the cake decorating competitions. Assistant Professor of Culinary Arts Gloria Cabral says her pastry students learn real-life skills by participating in the show.
We've used this as a stepping stone to see all the work that has to be involved, the techniques you have to know. It's not something you go in, you learn, and you're done. It's the practice, practice, practice is what makes you, my students will say, after 500 times, you'll get better. So they see how much these people have invested with their passion to make a beautiful cake, and it's good for them. They also have, we call mandatory volunteering, because they have to, it's all part, this is all for them. So they have to be part of the growing experience. So it's a good thing in all aspects of it, that they'll see, all right, if I don't want to be a competitor, well, maybe I can do cookies or cakes, or I can be a vendor, or we see people come in and take photography pictures, beautiful pictures, so maybe they'll be a food stylist or a photographer. So we give them all aspects of what they can do. Here, just as simple as this may seem, it's very complex, and the growth for the kids is wonderful.
This month's Alumni in Our Community features an Attleboro-based graduate who began his collegiate career before receiving his high school diploma.
Hi, my name is Hunter Parent Wetmore, BCC, class of 2012. I was born in Providence, Rhode Island, actually at Women and Infants Hospital, and I grew up mostly in Rhode Island, in Pawtucket, which borders Attleboro. I moved to Attleboro when I was, I want to say 10, it might have been 8, my mom has the details there. And I was homeschooled when I was younger. I've been homeschooled my entire life. If you ask my mom, I think there's some song about, like, this kid comes into school and he starts, like, coloring the roses purple and other, like, all these flowers, like, the wrong colors. And the teacher, like, makes him color things right. Like, roses are red, violets are blue, you know. And it's this very song about how kind of creativity at that age was kind of quashed. And that's my mom's, like, this is why I wanted to homeschool you, because, you know, she was very much into the freedom of expression, freedom to learn the way you want to. When I was homeschooled, I kind of didn't even realize there was a difference until I hit, like, probably like middle school age, because you don't really even think of it. We were in a homeschool co-op, so we had a ton of different homeschooled families all together. So I had a bunch of friends. We went to parks, we went to museums, we always doing stuff together, and it never even occurred to me that that was, like, all that different. And that was in middle school. You know, I did, like, basketball camps at the YMCA, I did Boy Scout camp, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, there are people who go to school. And, you know, at first, I'm not gonna lie, like, when I was at, you know, middle school going towards high school age, so like 13, 14, I really considered going to high school. I was like, you know, what do I want to be here? Is this what I want to be doing? And then I was like, no, you know, I had a girlfriend. I was like, I'm going to stay homeschooled. My mom is a BCC alum. I can't tell you the class year, but she graduated from the nursing program here. So she knew about BCC, and I had done the kids college program when I was, I don't know what age, much younger. And then, you know, I was hitting high school age, and I wanted to kind of supplement my education, and a couple of other homeschoolers had taken classes at CCRI, and one other homeschooler at the time, actually Robert Loggins, Nan Loggins works here, was taking classes here. So I had kind of heard through the, you know, homeschool grapevine that there was this program called dual enrollment where you could get kind of reduced tuition to take these classes, and you know, I thought it was a really great idea, and I'd already done AP Bio through MIT, so I was like, oh, I wanted to keep doing bio, so I was able to take the more advanced anatomy and physiology when I came here, and that was kind of my step forward. I was like, wow, I can really do more. I really have access to some great resources here, so that was kind of my draw, you know, into BCC. Honestly, as a younger student, I was kind of the like, oh, that's interesting. You're that age. Tell me more about it. And we have everyone here is so incredibly friendly. You have you know, most people are from Attleboro surrounding communities. You have people know each other. You know, they like each other. Everyone really gets along here. So, coming in, you know, I'd be in my English 101 course, and people would be like, "Oh, you're that age. Tell me more about it." And I'd talk, and I formed a lot of friendships and connections with people who were older than me, some were just out of high school, a lot were kind of returning students, non-traditional, and it was just really excellent to be able to connect with people from different experience level, different walks of life, and everyone here was so very open and so very, like, you know, willing to tell their stories, willing to share with me, and I really had a huge learning experience from that. I was always really interested in medical fields. I was interested in just health in general. My mom is a labor and delivery room nurse at Women and Infants in Providence, and my dad works at nonprofits in equipment program management, as well as like group homes and doing care there. So I've always been kind of integrated into that health field. And when I came to BCC, the first class I did here was anatomy and physiology, which if you know much about anatomy and physiology, it's one of the prereq class for our incredibly competitive nursing program. So I was with people who were like, I'm going to be a nurse, this is, you know, my giant thing, and I was like, I am interested in this. So it was really great to kind of develop those interests with other people who are interested in medical careers and who had previous medical experience. Like we had LPNs, EMTs in my course, so I really got to reach out and hear stories about medicine, and that kind of was able to develop what I wanted to go into and hear other experiences rather than just my parents. I started with tutoring here. There was an advisor who I spoke with. She headed the dual enrollment program here, and at the time, and she was like, "You should be a tutor." I was like, "Okay." And I was just kind of just like a regular tutor, and then when I was 16 and a half, so it was next semester, I joined the Senate, the Student Senate here, which is kind of our governing body for students at BCC, and I joined as the Attleboro campus representative. I kind of jumped in midway through the year due to some confusion with appointees and stuff like that. But it was just a fantastic experience because you got to work with administrators and got to work with people who are, you know, in charge sort of deal. I graduated BCC in fall of 2012, and I graduated with my degree in liberal arts, math and science option, which is a mass transfer degree, which allowed me to get into UMass Amherst. They accepted 60 credits of mine, waived my tuition because that's kind of the articulation agreement we have with UMass. And I started to get my bachelor's degree in public health at UMass Amherst. My current plans are I'm going to graduate with my bachelor's in public health, then get a degree in nursing, and I might be coming back here for that, I'm not positive. But then I'm able to explore both the bachelor side of things and work with the public health fields while also being able to work with my nursing degree. BCC helped me as a student. It helped me really kind of gather who I was and define who I was, because I was younger when I started going to BCC, and I think a lot of people kind of have a developmental period where we're like, we're not really sure what we want to do, kind of need a little bit of guidance. And BCC gave that, like, through working as a tutor, working in the student government, like leadership skills, confidence, and I can run a program, I can bring people together, I can organize things.
That's all for Around BCC this month. We leave you with a look at Material Matters, an art exhibit recently held at the Grimshaw Goodrich Art Gallery at the Fall River campus. I'm Keith Tebow. Thanks for watching.